game 32 is the battle for 5th place. And it's between England and Georgia, the 9th seeds against the 8th seeds here in Exeter. This is the competition we used to call the Plate. The teams that lost their Cup quarterfinals earlier this morning are England lost to Ireland in theirs, Georgia lost to Russia in theirs, and here are the lineups. And for England, Will Edwards, Alex Davis and Mason Tox will look to give them the go forward. They've been key for them in their resurgence today here in Exeter. And Georgia, well, look no further than number 10, Lasha Khamaladze. He's played 56 tests for the Georgian 15-a-side team. He's a fly half, missed the 15-a-side, the 2015 World Cup with injury, but he's the danger man. And Bidzina Samkaradze, the captain, will lead them around the field. Also look out for Nicolozzi Gigaudi. He's an impressive forward for Georgia, and they've had a good tournament. They beat Russia on day one, they beat Poland on day one, they beat Spain in the 5th place semi-final a little earlier on. So good signs for Georgian rugby in both 15-a-side and the shorter form of the game. And here is Alex Davis, the senior man of this young England side here in Exeter on the right of shot. And he will lead England out here at their home tournament. Hasn't gone all their way, but a former England 7's captain himself, Rob Vickerman, alongside me. Rob, do you think this is the best we could have expected from England, given the youth, the academy nature of this team they brought here to Exeter, or do you think they've underperformed?
No, I think I, as well as everyone around here, expected a bit more from this England team, being completely honest. I think when you look at a development programme, it needs opportunity. They've got that. What they've also got is talent. We've not seen enough of it. Their last game was their best game by far. They've got some real impactful players. You've mentioned already Alex Davis, who's been a great leader, such a young age, 24, considering he's the old man of this team. But Charlie Kingham was the most pivotal player with his restart capabilities last game, number 5. Keep an eye out for him. Also, Jordan Ainsley finally got to see a little bit of pace in his team. Lost Callum Circuit early. My fear for this England team is that they've only got 10 fit players. It's a tough ask for Tony Rokes and his men to not have many substitutes.
Yeah, they've lost Callum Circuit and Henry Martin, so down to the bare bones, England, as we're underway in the 5th place final. Georgia get us started. And that's brought down by Jordan Ainsley, the man you're talking about with the wheels, Rob. And the captain, Alex Davis, gets a horrible pass thrown to him from Will Edwards, and he won't thank him for that. And Georgia have latched onto it, and they have scored. It's Zurab Zenaladze. And that's a horror show, it's got to be said, for England, right in their own 22.
The Georgians will take that all day. Bit of pressure from them. They're clearly going to be very physical, as they're about 5 or 6 kilograms per man heavier than this young England team. And that's what we saw there. A little bit of a dodgy pass, throwing it back inside there. Tom Fitch managed to find the inside player, and that's just not good enough. Will Edwards is a player known to be on the HSBC World 7 Series. He will be upset with that. But the Georgians will take it all day.
Yeah, he's a scrum half, and that is not what the skipper, Alex Davis, was looking for. And then it was a game of pinball, and it was Georgia who reacted best. So, going down early in this game, England. Reset, start again, another kickoff. And here's Lasha Khamaladze. There's a slightly different sort of kickoff this time. Doesn't quite work for him, doesn't go the 10, so they'll go back to the centre spot for a free kick. But England decide to take the line out, and there's a tackle there on the
They can't take a quick liner.
Chatterton, but
they can't take a quick liner.
Nothing in
it has to be a free kick.
We'll go to the free kick.
Is the prerogative if he chooses to play that line out? I'd say that is play on. A little bit of an experience there, Ainsley. Just take the restart. You've got a free kick centre field. Now got Fitch on the ball. Control the tempo, and let's try and get some of these players get sidestepping in the middle.
Will Edwards on the run around. Across the Chatterton, and that's another poor piece of skill from England. Charlie Kingham that time. Passing left to right, hasn't quite gone their way so far. Tony Rokes and Simon Amor looking on. Just next England to this line out. They'll be a bit concerned about how the skill set's been executed so far. Georgia win the line out. Ball just on their side at half-time, halfway rather. Here's Khamaladze. Gets involved in so much stuff for this Georgian side, so many parts of their game, a physical team, and here's Tabutsadze. He's the flyer, but well wrapped up by Jordan Ainsley. Matches it pace for pace, and Ainsley go for a second bite. And perhaps it's the physical part of the game that England can get stuck in here and try and turn the tide. Down by a try, and that's gone behind the Georgian player. Kick through from Tonks, but
No.
it went out in the full, so it'll be a Georgia throw just in front of their side of the 10-metre line.
The one thing you don't want to get into against a Georgian team is an arm wrestle. He's making it about their physicality and the ability to change the tempo of the game. Fair play, good shot midfield. Like to see those big shoulders going in, but this England team must stop these errors.
Kamaladze on the run around was off the bench. Jimmy Kradze
Tackle!
trying to force the turnover at the breakdown, but Georgia sending a couple of men in there, securing the ball, no problem. Leading 5-0, 3.5 minutes to go in this fifth-place semi-final, and more defensive work for Ainsley on this near side. And England have won the penalty. Well done there from
Go back.
Jordan Ainsley on the floor. He's won good field position for his team.
Good mark.
Good play there, not just known for his pace. That was great contact work, over the ball quickly. Big rule in the England setup is your tackle is not complete until you're back on your feet, and that was great skill set here. Going to a set-piece play now, expect to see the playmakers in the middle, some big line runners trying to bust through, and a bit of space out wide.
Kingham to Fitch, to Edwards, back to Fitch, to Davis, Ainsley, gone out to the right wing after winning the turnover, 12 metres out. Good quick ball for England. Here's Edwards, Chatterton, Kingham. Kingham's got Tonks outside him, tries to go himself.
6 release.
Boot gets flown off his right peg. Tonks just juggles the ball at the base, but Edwards has it. Nice long pass over to Davis, and here's Ainsley again. Little bit of space, in and away. And Jordan Ainsley, rightfully having won the turnover for his team a few phases ago, comes up with the score that ties this one up.
Look, potent in his last game, he's continued that form into this one. Industrious on that left-hand side, getting the turnover. This is more of his game. Simon Ammo there, what a great shot that is. Look, head coach there walking back with him, celebrating. And rightly so, such a young team. Mentioned before about how young these guys are. Pretty much schoolboys, it's fair to say. But that is what created the opportunity. Set-piece play, a couple of phases later. Chatterton carried on without a boot, who needs them. Keeps the ball alive, gets the ball back to Ainsley, who's able to exploit a little bit of space with some great finishing.
Conversion unsuccessful, so it remains at 5 apiece. What do you think Simon Amor has learnt this weekend? What do you think he's found, Rob? We saw him in shot there with Jordan Ainsley. He looks pretty happy with how things are going, even though they're playing for 5th place and not a cup.
He's learned a lot about individuals. You know, you look at environments like this, you see which players can step up, which don't. Attitude means a lot. You watch body language, effort on effort, and how committed players are.
Wild slap back from Georgia, fallen into England hands. It's Kingham.
It's okay.
And that goes loose as well. And, geez, there's some tired bodies out there. 6th game of the weekend for these boys. They have really put it out there, emptied the tank, and that's Tom Fitch running into contact. Here's the captain, Davis. Over to Tonks, he's been impressive. Steps off his right foot. Good covering tackle there from Upsaudi. Clearing out there is the try scorer, Ainsley, and England have won the penalty.
Just need a bit more tempo in the game, England. They've got the legs on this Georgian team. Whilst they're not used to playing these 6-game formats often, the tempo is going to try and break down the physicality of this Georgian team.
Okay, set piece, 15 seconds to go. Final play, first half, 5 each. What do you do here?
They'll look to hit it in the middle, they use the big men, and try and create opportunities they've done before to the ends.
And here comes Edwards, goes to switch play, and it's gone off the chest of George Chatterton. And unfortunately, the skills letting England down once again in this first half. They've had their chances, they've taken one of them. And it's all tied up, although we will set the scrum here to Georgia. Red on the clock. Another opportunity for the Georgians to try and hit back here.
Bind. Set.
Sandy Park crowd getting behind their England 7's. Here come Georgia. They're going to have to go 80 metres if they're going to score again in this first half. Running slightly across field, and this is into the hands of Sadze, the number 12. They get really good quick ball, Georgia. That's what you need in sevens. And they can try and challenge this England defence. On the run around is Hamaladze. Here he goes. He's the main man, the playmaker. Nice little step inside. That's beautifully done, and he's away. Lasha Hamaladze, the playmaker for Georgia. Well, what a point he's made in this one. They got that one more scrum. It's all they needed. The eyes are wide. He's sucking in the big ones. Good try for Georgia.
Well, the man is pretty much old enough to father the majority of these England players. Goes through the middle of them like they weren't there. Gets tied in the middle of the pitch, but what great play. Hamaladze impressed throughout this Georgian team. Real leader for them. The experience that in 15, transfers to sevens. As you can see him exhausted, almost in shock.
Yeah, he has put it out there this weekend as Lasha Hamaladze. 12-5. Georgia lead England, conversion successful.
It was outstanding work, okay? We're just giving them a bit too much ball for me because we're just lacking. We're going off piece a little bit. You look amazing when it's early call, hot gas, amazing. And you just start spreading it, everyone knows what they're doing, great clear out, and we're playing away. We don't when we just get a bit lost, so we just go on our own agenda a little bit, okay? Make sure, stick to the pattern, because that's what it'll work. Early call, hot gas, then we can cut this team apart. If we go off piece, we're not, our support lines are not there, and we're getting turned over, giving them cheap ball. Everyone clear on that? Yeah. Defensively, let's just get our heads up. Heads up, scan, force them to that edge. When we get them to that edge, they're looking for that cheeky offload to centre or the one go one in. Don't look so eager at getting involved unless it's on the floor. Okay, so just getting sucked in a bit in that area. So really clear. Early call, hot or gas. Simple, you cut this team apart. In D, once that pass is gone, have a look because they really desire to play to short sides massive. As they go into the trap, second man make your read. Okay? Don't get too involved as you're coming out that tackle is offloading, we're losing players. We all clear? Yeah. Last thing, attitude. Let's finish this 7. Let's finish this 7. Let's go.
That's the voice of Tony Rokes, the England assistant coach. Simon Amell's handed him the half-time responsibility for this tournament. And they're up against it. 12-5 down at half-time against Georgia in the 5th place final. What do they need here, Rob Vickerman?
Well, my first concern there is there was too much information. Like, these are young, just out of school academy players. They don't need to be told too much other than that last word, attitude. If they come out there and just try and show that they want it a little bit more against a Georgian team who aren't as skilled, who aren't as quick, but are a little bit bigger than them, then that will go far with them. Don't over-structure, don't overcomplicate, play to your strengths and enjoy the next 7 minutes.
Well, England are going to need to enjoy these next 7 minutes if they're going to come back against Georgia. Georgia scoring just before the break to get back in front. And Fitch gets us underway in the second half, and that's well brought down by Ryan Olowofela there for England, and they've got possession early in this second period, and that's just what they needed. Here's Edwards. Defender shooting out of the line there from Georgia was Gagowdi. He put the England attacker under pressure, and it's resulted in another error, and they've really been mounting up for England in this 5th place final.
They have been, that's their 5th. They've had more in previous games, but ultimately those balls given away, all important for this Georgian team. As I mentioned, they absolutely want to slow this England team down. They want to make it a battle and frustrate them, and they're doing that.
Yeah, that line speed from Georgia. We saw what the British and Irish Lions could do to the All Blacks down in New Zealand with good line speed. It's just what Georgia are doing here to England in this Exeter Sevens 5th place final. They've got the 7-point lead, and they'll be looking to go 2 scores ahead. And here they come. Here's Sadze, tries to get it round the outside of Jordan Ainsley, but Ainsley's up to the task, and well done, Ainsley. Not for the first time in this match. Wins the penalty at the breakdown. Here is Ainsley to Edwards. Fitch in midfield. Chatterton. Alex Davis. Mason Tonks. Hit and spin.
Release!
Often see Richard de Carpentier playing that role for England on the wide open spaces on the 7's World Series, and Mason Tonks has made a really good fist of that part of the game for England this weekend. Play scrum half now. Here's Edwards. Gets the hitch kick going, sees a gap, can't quite get through. Really good tackle there from Gingy-Kadze. Fitch with a long, wide open pass, and it was almost picked off by Sichenava. Advantage England for the knock-on. Here's Edwards. Can he get through this time? Not quite. Another good tackle there on the floor. Last-ditch stuff from Georgia. They are leaving it all out there, the Georgians.
The knock-on is now over.
Edwards. Familiar hitch kick he does. Tries to find a way through. Nice in and away round the sweeper. Hands it off. Have England found a way back through? Olowofela. Yes, they have. Really good try from England. It was created by Will Edwards. He tried that move with the hitch kick feet a couple of times. Didn't quite work, but on the third time of trying, he found Olowofela. And England are right back in this.
Good finish from Olowofela. Went quite well in the Premiership Sevens domestically last year. He's built on that out here today. Probably questioned his defence previously, but good attacking play. All about Will Edwards here, though. Squares up the defender, gets on the outside. Once again, we said all weekend, ball in two hands, ask questions of the defence. Plays it inside a little bit early, perhaps, but still giving Olowofela the chance to get over with the big fend he manages to.
All-important conversion goes over. So we are all tied up here, 12 points apiece. I quite like the early pass there, Rob, because he thought, I'll give it to the man with the wheels to finish.
There's no slouch with Edwards, but got that man outside, you're going to use him. Lovely step on the sweeper, though. Very difficult thing to beat one man whilst it looks like there's open space, to change direction and not lose pace. Quite tough.
So this one looks like it's going all the way. 3.5 minutes to go in the fifth place final. 12 points apiece. That ball's gone forward that time off the try scorer, Ryan Olowofela. So Georgia will set a scrum just on their side of their 10-metre line.
Hold the push. Hold the push.
Bidzina Samkaradze, the captain there, the number 9. Scrum half here.
Bind.
They will feed this scrum. And they've got first receiver standing directly behind the scrum. England try to put the power on, but too much on the angle, says the referee. So Georgia have an opportunity here to kick to touch, breathe in a bit of oxygen, and win the line out. They've made some good yards there.
Wouldn't surprise me if it went for the driving maul there, such as the stature of these big forwards. Really are big men.
Yeah. Nicolozzi Gigari, the number 4.
Straight first.
He's got some size about him. He'll take his place at the front of this line out, but they'll look to Zurab Zenaladze. There he is. He takes the ball down. Here come Georgia. Nenidze, they go the switch play. Here's the skipper. Back to Zenaladze.
Release!
He's the ball carrier, the go-forward man. Modibadze, the number 2's out there off the bench for Georgia as well, and they've got an opportunity out on the far side, and Jordan Ainsley with some more defensive responsibility, but good work too from Ryan Olowofela, and England really having to dig deep here, aren't they? They're down to 10 men. They've lost Callum Circa and Henry Martin, and big-time defensive play there.
Yeah, not for the first time. Really impressed with Ainsley. Mentioned him at the beginning of the game about his attack. His defence has been outstanding in this game, and Olowofela showing that he has got a bit of attitude, which is good to see.
Fitch feeds
Just move to the mark, please.
Nice just for that to be thrown in again, not quite taken on the mark. So Alex Davis in the lineup, but they go to the front on the sneaky one, and that's worked out quite well for England. Those big Georgian forwards wreaking havoc. Play on, says the referee, and they've got a penalty too, and that physical side of the game for Georgia really reaping rewards at the moment.
It is. Breakdowns are their sanctuary. They look to try and get to them, to turn the ball over. They've got an opportunity now, and mention the big men. They are stacked in midfield, ready to go.
Here they come, 12 points each. Something's got to give inside the last 45 seconds now. But that ball's gone to the floor, just what Georgia didn't want, an error in the closing stages of this game. Can England pick up some points and avoid this one going to golden points? Here's a lower fella. He's made a really good impact since he's come on. Carries it up towards the halfway line. England have got some numbers on the near side. Edwards. Hurski Douglas. He carries the ball into contact. Georgia again getting involved in the breakdown, and they've turned it over, Georgia. England are going to have to hold up on D now. Little sneak through from the Georgian skipper.
Advantage is over.
4 seconds left. No sweeper for England. There's a chance in behind. Will Edwards slowly getting back there. Georgia decide to keep the ball in hand. Modebadze there bumps off his opponent and then tracks back, and this is Karasishvili. Players really having to dig deep into the final reserves of oxygen and energy here. The 6th game these players have played this weekend. Here at the Exeter 7's, nice little offload is at the opening. It's Gagauri, puts it to the floor. Modebadze, last gasp defence coming up, won't be enough. It's Gagauri in the corner. And Georgia have upset England here in the final game in the plate 5th place competition. Nikolotsi Gagauri, his 4th try this weekend. And England are empty. They've got nothing left and they've been knocked over by Georgia. What a performance from the Georgians. They beat Russia on day 1. They beat Spain this morning. And they've beaten another World Series team, England, here to finish their Exeter 7's on a high. And they've got to be happy with that, Rob Vickerman.
Oh, what a performance from this Georgian team, taking down Russia. Thought that was the height of their tournament. They've gone on to really impress. Never say die attitude. Rightly despairing England players, as they're going to spend a lot of time reflecting on this with 4 weeks off they now have. But the Georgians were outstanding, physical, imposing, and just of their victory.
Well, it was going to golden point if it remained 12 apiece. They turned it into golden point themselves because it was the final play and they came up with the try. Gagauri's the hero. Georgia have won the 5th place final. They've beaten England by 17 points to 12.